Good morning, everybody. This is Michelle Holloway from Greater Michiana. We have been getting a lot of requests for people that are doing a lot of walking and running and having some issues with plantar fasciitis. So we're going to focus on that. And at the end, we'll do a little de-stress. Remember, when I stand up, we're going to start with the foot treatment, and you won't be able to see my face, but our focus is on the feet, so that's okay. If you don't have a melt ball at home, please feel free to use a tennis ball or some kind of ball that's real soft. From here, we'll begin by standing up tall. Align your ears with the shoulders, shoulders over hips, and hips over feet. I encourage you to close your eyes and just allow yourself a handful of breaths. We breathe in fully through the nose, allowing the belly and the ribcage to expand. And as you exhale, try to get rid of all the stale air. Again, inhaling, let your belly blossom. Rib cage is expanding. Exhale, notice how the belly gets smaller. The rib cage gets tinier. Allow yourself just a couple more breaths. Throughout your deep breathing or your full breath breathing, it relaxes the nervous system. It adds nutrients to the body. Go back to your natural breath and just notice how your feet feel on the floor. Remember, ideally, our feet are evenly rooted to the ground, tiny little scoops for our arches. And if you do this often, just notice if you feel anything different than you normally do. Maybe you're carrying your weight in one foot versus the other. Some of us might feel like we're carrying more of our weight in the forefoot, while others feel like it's more in the heel bones. Just be aware of what you're feeling. Take another breath. And then from here, I'll have you step a little wider with the right foot and place your left foot onto your ball, the very center of your foot. This is a position point for the diaphragm. Our feet are wide, and we're gently rocking side to side a few times, trying to find tolerable pressure. We never want to feel pain. And then from here, keep what you feel is tolerable pressure on the left foot. Pause for a full breath. And I want you to step back slightly with the right foot. From here, we're going to decompress the ball by placing weight into the right foot. Lift your left foot. And I want you to take the ball right underneath the big foot knuckle or the big head of your foot. We come forward and compress. And with the tennis ball, it's a little tricky, so you may not be able to put very much weight on it. Weight goes into the right foot to decompress the ball. I want you to take your foot just an inch to the right. We're going to come forward and compress. Again, weight into the back foot as you move your foot to the right, hitting the third foot knuckle. And when I'm saying foot knuckles, make sure you're not underneath your toes or underneath the pads of the feet, the foot knuckles. These position points are for eyes, face, jaw. And then from here, we're going to lift our foot all the way up and off the ball. I want you to line the ball up with the ankle on the inside edge of the foot. We cover up the ball and compress, and this is with digestion. Once again, transfer your weight into the right foot, lift your left foot, and take the ball right behind the big foot knuckle or the big head of your foot. We come forward and compress. This helps with neck. Weight into the right foot as you decompress the ball. I want you to lift your foot, take the ball to the outside edge of the foot, the 50-yard line. We have a tiny arch right there, and that's where the ball goes. If you have a small ball, when you step down, there should be just a little bit of blue or a ball sticking out. And then your last position point is for low back. It's right in front of your heel. We compress and keep the compression. On your next breath, start your gliding motion. You're going to work the ball side to side. I know when I use the tennis ball with our athletes, the tennis ball is tricky to get to the very back of the heel. Start to bring your foot forward to get to the back of the heel. And once you're at the back of the heel, swipe it a couple of times and start to pull the foot towards the body so that you end up in front of the heel again. Once we get in front of our heel, we're going to pause. And then we go into a tiny little wiggle called a shear. Pause and allow yourself a breath. Weight into the right foot as you decompress the ball. I want you to squish the ball with the big foot knuckle. We come forward and compress, and one clean sweep, you're going to rinse your foot by taking that ball all the way to the heel. And notice how I step off the ball. I'm going to place my weight into the right foot, use the toes to bring the ball back, compress, and again, in one clean sweep, come all the way forward. You're looking for consistent pressure on the ball. We'll hit all 5 foot knuckles. And after you hit all 5 foot knuckles, find a couple more spots that feel good. It's my favorite part. And then like a little kid scribbling on a paper, light pressure, quick movements. Done. Go ahead and stand on your feet, align your body the way you did at the beginning of class. Close your eyes, allow yourself a couple of breaths, and just notice if that 2 minutes of work made any changes on your left side. I know for me, my foot feels lighter and more evenly weighted to the ground. And then scanning the thigh, it almost feels seamless, like I'm not noticing my knee, my hip, the ankle. Go ahead and open your eyes. Weight goes into the left foot. You're going to transfer your weight into the ball, the very center of your right foot. We rock side to side. Once again, the purpose of the rocking is to find tolerable pressure. Once you find what you feel is tolerable pressure, keep that amount of weight on the right foot and pause for a full breath in. As you exhale, step back with the left foot and decompress the ball. The weight is in your left foot. Take the ball to the big foot knuckle or the big pad of the foot. Once again, we're going to come forward and compress. Transferring the weight into the left foot as you lift your right foot, you're going to move it just an inch to the left to get the second foot knuckle. Come forward and compress. Once again, we're going to work our way down all 5 foot knuckles. Just make sure that you're coming forward long enough for a full breath. And make sure that you're not underneath your toes. You're underneath the pads of your feet. Last foot knuckle here. And then from here, you're going to lift your right foot, weight goes into the left. Take the ball to the outside edge of the foot, in line with your ankle. Lift your foot and compress. Once again, for digestion. Weight into the left foot, decompress the ball. Take that ball right behind the big foot knuckle. Come forward and compress. Transferring to the left foot, we lift our right foot, take the ball to the outside edge of the foot. We cover up the ball, make sure you can see a little blue sticking out. And this one helps with the thoracic spine or the upper back. And then finally, right in front of your heel, we compress and keep the compression. After your breath, we're going to keep our toes down and we're going to start our gliding motion side to side. With consistent pressure on the ball, start to bring your foot forward. When the ball is at the back of the heel, swipe it a couple of times. And once again, you're going to start to pull the foot towards the body to end up in front of your heel. Once you get in front of the heel, I want you to pause and compress, and then create a little wiggle for me. Pause and allow yourself a breath. Weight into the left foot as you decompress the ball. Squish the ball with the big foot knuckle. We come forward with our weight, one clean sweep, swipe your foot all the way forward, stepping off the ball. Transferring the weight to the left foot, now go sideways so it makes more sense. We compress the big foot knuckle, come forward, stepping off the ball. Weight into the left foot, use your toes to bring it back. Third foot knuckle. And remember, once you hit all 5 foot knuckles, find a couple of spots that feel good. On this foot, for me, it's on the outside edge. And then quick movements, light pressure, just roll, roll, roll. Let's roll the left foot. And then one more time on the right. All done with that. From here, I encourage you to take a sip of water, and then we'll come down to a seated position. I'll have you cross the legs in front of you. We sit up tall, align the ears over the shoulders. Think about growing taller with each breath, and maybe think about taking the tailbone back a bit so that you create that natural curve in your spine. And from here, I'm going to have you take your arms up, palms up to the ceiling. As you exhale, take the palms down. Inhale, let's grow taller. Exhale, lower it. Keep your arms long, fingertips to the ground. Let's create a few shoulder shrugs. As you inhale, the shoulders come up to the ears. Exhale, press them back and down. Again, breath in through your nose. And you can exhale through the nose with the mouth. One more time. This time, as you exhale, bring the shoulders back and down, hands to the ground, drop the right ear to the shoulder. Slowly take the left ear to the shoulder. Let's do that one more time each side. Oh, we just had a nice pop. Return your head to center. Chin is level. It's almost as if the head is reaching for the back wall. And again, we're still long in the spine or tall in the spine. And I want you to slowly turn right to left. No pausing. Just slowly move your head each direction. And each time you turn your head, see if you can go a little bit further without forcing the movement. And one more time each side. Now let's hold it on the left side. We drop our chin towards the shoulder and then just let your head fall to center. We raise our head, chin is level. We're going to rotate to the right. Again, drop the chin and fall to center. Go ahead and bring it up to center, keeping your lips slightly separated. Chin travel towards the ceiling to the point of comfort. Opening up the neck. And then just let your chin fall to the chest. Again, take a breath in or out here. And let it float to the chest. Reminding yourself of your posture. I felt myself starting to slouch. You might be doing that as well. Keep your chin on the chest. Give yourself a great big bear hug. Take a full breath in. See if you can expand the upper back. As we exhale, allow the chin to float to the chest, rounding slightly. Again, a breath in through the nose. Exhale, let your chin float. Raise our chin out the chest. Pay attention to which arm is on top, and I want you to open the arms, bend the wrists, reach back. From here, give yourself a great big bear hug, opposite arm on top. Still tall in the spine. We drop chin to the chest. Breathe in fully. And as you exhale, slightly round the upper back and let the chin drop towards the chest. Let's do that a couple more times. Hopefully, you're feeling that upper back open up a bit, especially between the shoulder blades. And then from here, once again, just raise your chin, open the arms, bend the wrist, reach back. And then just shake it out. I'll have you take your right hand to the left thigh, sitting up tall, a gentle rotation, and then we switch sides. Again, try not to really pause on each side. We're just creating fluid movement, waking up your spine. And then we will hold this one. We're rotating to the left, reaching through the crown of the head. One more breath. Think about expanding the left side of your rib cage. We breathe in. Let's bring it to center. Pull the shoulders back. Left hand to right thigh. Grow taller. Again, as we inhale, we expand. As we exhale, we're trying to rotate a bit further without forcing it. And remember, if your doctor told you not to twist, it's probably not a good exercise for you, which is something I probably should have cued before we started. And then bring it to center. Continuing to loosen up the spine. I'm going to have you place your hands on your knees and just relax. We're going to create tiny little circles with our upper body. For me, especially if I'm at home, I like to close my eyes and kind of notice what I'm feeling in the spine. And as you become more comfortable with this, maybe get a little deeper. But of course, listen to your body. If there's pain or any funny pinching in there, it's probably something you should stay in a smaller movement, or maybe just skip and let your belly fall forward. One more time. And then from here, simply reverse it. You can start with the slow circles and start to make them bigger, or just start with the large circles since we've already loosened up a little bit. Just a couple more. And the last one here. Let's roll the shoulders back and down. I'm going to have you place each hand behind you, but make sure the fingers are facing the bottom, a little bit easier on the wrist, and we're going to slightly bend the elbows. I'll have you separate your legs wide with the toes up, and you're just going to create windshield wipers. Be aware of your shoulders. We want to make sure we're not sinking, but instead lift away, keeping your hands light on the ground. A little bit of core. A couple more. And then from here, just bring your legs closer together and bring yourself up to a seated position. Let's extend both legs in front of us. I'll have you point through the toes for a moment. Maybe move your flesh out of the way so that the sit bones are attached to the ground. I'm going to back up just a little so you can see my feet. We're going to raise the toes now. Once again, just point. Feel that nice stretch in your shins. And flex toes up, feeling the pull in the back side of the legs. Again, point. And flex, separate all 10 toes. One more time. And lift, open up the toes. Try to keep your legs rooted to the ground. The toes are up and separating all 10 toes. And from here, we'll take a full breath in. Exhale. Hands to the ground. You're going to slide your body forward just a little bit, feeling a pull on the back of your legs. Sorry. So I'm looking for length here instead of flexion. Some of us can touch our toes, but if you're flexed and rounded, you're really not getting anything more or less out of the back of the legs. See if you can come forward just a little bit more. And then bring yourself upright. We're going to slide our left leg into a bent position, planting that foot on the ground. Grab a hold of your shin and see if you can come up a little taller. Forget about that. We're going to cross this leg over the other. Take your right arm, hug the knee into the chest. Make sure this leg is still on the ground. Your left leg is going to go behind you. With good posture, rotate your chest to the left side. Give yourself a couple of breaths, and hopefully you feel a nice stretch through the side of the hip, maybe in your bum. If your hamstrings are real tight, you might feel that too. Return to center. I want you to bring the pad of that foot to the inner thigh. Toes up, start to walk forward a bit. And then on your next breath, let that ankle relax and see if you can come forward a little bit further. One more breath. We bring ourselves up to good posture, lifting the knee, slide the leg out, flexing the foot, right leg comes in. And again, Sit up nice and tall. I like to grab position and elongate my spine, keeping that good posture. You're going to pick up your foot, cross it over the left. We take our left arm and hug the knee into the chest. Right hand goes to the ground. Rotate. Remembering our posture as we rotate. So my left side is much tighter. Even though I called out my right side, I'm on my left to mirror you. I can really feel that in my bone. We return to center. We take the pad of the right foot to the inner thigh, toes up, and we come forward a bit. And then I want you to relax the ankle and see if you can walk forward a bit more. From here, we'll bring ourselves up. And I'm going to have you bend that left leg. Pads of the feet together. Again, grab hold of the shins or the ankle and see if you can pull your shoulders back and down and create more length in the spine. If we're really tight, our knees might be up there, and that's okay. Using your elbows, I want you to gently press into the thighs, never forcing it, but just get a little bit more of a stretch in your inner thighs or your adductors. We sit up tall. Those adductors can play havoc on our pelvis and our knees if they get tight. And then, only if it's good for you, come forward just a bit. One more breath. I'll have you relax back. Push your feet forward slightly and then just fold over the body. Allow yourself a couple of breaths here. Hopefully that feels good in your low back. And then we'll round our backs, bring ourselves upright, bending the knees. So I said a moment ago, I forgot my melt ball. Right here. Sitting behind the tennis ball. I'm going to have you relax your right leg wherever you want. And this is for our runners. Sometimes the way our feet plant or hit the ground plays havoc with our shins. So I want you to find the bone right there in the front, okay? And I want you to take 2 fingers and go just below your knee. There shouldn't be any bone there. There's a little bit of meat. You're going to place your ball right there. We place palm to the ball and we clasp our fingers. Once again, our posture. You're going to compress that area. And if you have neck issues, try to press the thumb pad. It might help with the neck. In that area, you're going to create this small and slow circular motion. Now just compress, take a breath, and I want you to raise your left foot and relax it down. Give me 3 more. We relax our foot, just pause and take a breath. You're going to move that ball about 2 finger lengths below where you're at. And again, make sure you're not on your bone. Once again, we clasp our fingers, compress the area. Add some circles. Compress and take breath. Lift and lower. Pause for just a moment. And then move that ball down just a little bit more, making sure you're not on the bone. Grab hold of the ball, we compress. Once again, create the circular motion. Compress, lift and lower. And then once again, we're just going to take a breath. Your final position is just a little bit lower. Compress. Add your circular motion. You only need 4 or 5 of them. Once again, compress and then add your equal movement. Compress and take a breath. Moving to the other side. Slide your left leg out, right leg bends. Again, find your tibia. Go a couple of finger lengths away from it. Compress. I like using my palm because I do have neck issues. Clasp the fingers, compress that area. Make sure you're creating a good posture. And then add your circular motion. We pause, take a breath, and raise and lower. And then once again, we just take a full breath, release. We're going to move that ball down just a couple of inches, compressing the area, making sure that you're not on the bone, and add your circles. Go ahead and compress, add, and lift and lower. Compress, add a full breath. Let's move it down to the next position. Add your circles. Pause, create your ankle movement. Pause and allow yourself a breath. And then that final position is just underneath it. Especially in this area, you want to make sure you're not on the bone. Not as much meat down there. Go ahead and compress and add the ankle lift. And then once again, we're just going to pause and take a full breath. And then let it go. Fall to the side. And yes, you could have done that with a tennis ball. You just might not be able to clasp as easy. So calves. You know what? We're going to do it this way so you'll be able to see much better. I want you to begin at your ankle. For this next move, you do have to use some of your wrist and shoulders. If you are compromising your wrist and this is just not a doable move for you, one option is to be able to lean back and then come forward with your body. So your roll won't be, or your movement with the roller won't be as large if you're not putting your hands on the floor, and that's okay. Do what's best for you. I want you, once again, with your calf real close to the edge of the roller, our hands are on the floor, and I'm not going to lift my bum very much. I'm going to use this right foot to help me maneuver. I want you to angle your knee and toe towards the right. So I'm kind of on the inside edge of the leg, and then I'm going to kind of drag my bum across the mat. When I get to just about my knee, I'm going to turn so that the knee and toe are up and pull myself back. So again, rotate. You're going up the inside of your leg and down the back side of the leg. And my bum is still attached to the floor, so I'm not stressing out my wrist nor my shoulders. And my hands stay laid on the ground. It is a little bit of core work. But again, for those of you that are suffering from running or a lot of walking right now, because that's a good exercise for us since we can't get into the facilities, this might feel really good. From here, I want you to keep your right foot on the floor. We're just going to take this roller past your knee space. Remember, we never roll our spaces. So I'm just past my knee. Again, knee and toe are going to rotate to the right. And I'm going to drag myself towards the top of my thigh. Knee and toe come up as I drag it on the back of the thigh. So we're going up the inner thigh and down the back of the thigh. One more time. And from here, we're just going to switch sides. So we're going to use our left leg to maneuver. Our right leg is close to the ankle. We rotate the knee and toe to the side. We're pulling it down and then back. Give me two more. And then once again, we're just going to pull this roller just past the knee space. Knee and toe rotate to the side. We're going down, or I'm sorry, up the inner thigh, down the back. Let's do that one more time. And then just pause. Turn your roller horizontal. I'm going to give you a couple of different options here, especially if you have shoulder issues. So we never roll our IT band. And if you're somebody that does, obviously that's your choice. But everything that I was taught through melt, we roll our attachments here and up here. There's a lot of nerves. That's why when you roll the side, it hurts so much. And remember, if you're putting yourself into pain, trying to get rid of pain, you're putting yourself into fight or flight response, which is stress in the body. And when you're trying to get out of stress or trying to get rid of pain, putting yourself into stress is probably not real helpful. Something to think about. So our roller is horizontal, and we're going to go just past our knee space. Okay, so it almost looks like I'm behind my knees, but when I turn, you'll see I'll be just at the top of my knee. We're going to side lie on the ground. Okay, so one option is lying down with our head here, and I can do everything like this. Okay, so if I have a shoulder issue, this might be the best way for me. Otherwise, we're going to take our right hand to the ground and lift ourselves up so that we're propped as if we're going to do a side plank. Okay, make sure your shoulder is probably over the elbow and you're pushing away from the ground instead of sinking. The sinking might hurt our shoulders. Now our feet, I want you to kick your legs forward and notice how my feet are away from the ground. From here, I'm going to have you push your feet into the ground. So we're not sinking, we're lifted away. We have to use those obliques. If this is too much pressure on that area, you can take that top leg in front so that there's not too much pressure. Do what's best for you. I like them stacked. I'm going to use my ankles, so my toes stay on the ground, to help me maneuver into that small forward and back motion. Now we can explore a little bit by leaning forward just a little and then lean back a little bit. For most of us, it's going to be tender. Now pause right there. Take your top leg forward. And from here, I want you to try to bend that bottom leg, maybe 3 or 4 times. If it won't go, don't force it. Maybe take a little bend or just skip it and hold. And then from here, everybody will take a full breath. Lower your hip to the ground. Stack the legs. And we're just going to turn over. You can turn away from me. I want to make sure you can see me, so I'm just going to flip over. Once again, it's almost like we're lining up the back of our knees to the roller. And then once we turn, we should be just above the kneecap. Just a reminder, this is an option too, okay? Otherwise, we're going to bring our elbow right underneath the shoulder, push away from the ground, use this top hand for support, kick your legs forward, push your feet into the ground, keeping the hips up and pressed away from the ground. We're using the ankles to maneuver forward and back just above the knee. And once again, explore a little bit. Lean forward a hair. So you're kind of on the corner, and then bring it back to side lying. We pause, we lift the top leg, and I'm going to have you rested on the roller and try bending the bottom leg. You'll notice one side's way more tender than the other. And then once again, just pause, take a breath. Lower the hip, stack the legs, and turn over. We're going to lift our bums, and I want you to take your bum to the roller. We're leaning forward, and I want you to find your sit bones. So just roll back and forth a few times. I want you to take your sit bones on the foot side of the roller. So my sit bones are here. Hands go to the mat. And I want your fingers pointed to 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and give me flexion in the spine. So you're going to tuck your pelvis. This is tilted, you're going to tuck. And then I want you to come forward even more so that you're rolling on the back of your hips, your sacrum. Hands are light, elbows are bent. Make sure you're not sinking. We're still pressed away from the ground. From here, I want you to bring your feet closer together, angle them to the left, and you're going to take your right hand under the thighs. We're more on the left, the cushy part of the left hip, and you're going to create a circular motion. Go ahead and pause. Let's drop that left leg. And from here, you're just going to kind of fall towards the floor and push yourselves back. I'm using my right foot to help me maneuver. Again, this hand is real light on the ground. Again, you have to use some core muscles for this. Hold it in the center of that cheek, and you're going to clam your bottom leg. So there's no movement here. Relax your leg down and take a full breath. And then I'm going to have you kind of fall to the floor, come over to your forearm and elbow. We lower that top leg. So I'm at the top of the hip on this side. Find the top of your hip if you're not sure. And you should be more in the meaty part, just underneath the top of the hip. I'm going to use this top leg to maneuver myself forward and back. Look at how tiny the motion is, maybe 2 inches. Go ahead and pause, and you're going to lean forward a little bit and lean back a little bit. When we're running and even power walking a lot, our hips get really tight. And depending on how our feet hit the ground, it has a chain reaction to the knee and then sometimes the hips. Go ahead and relax it right here on the side. And once again, bend the bottom leg, lift and lower. And if that's not working for you, you can extend the leg and lift and lower, whatever works for you. And then just pause and take a breath. So I'm going to have you place this bottom hand to the ground, lean back, place your right hand to the ground and come back to your sacrum. Bend both knees, feet are on the floor. And then you can slowly maneuver to the right side. Our left hand's on the thighs and you're going to create a circular motion on the cushy part of that hip. Go ahead and pause. You're going to clam your bottom leg. 2 more. And then go ahead and let the leg drop. Take a breath. And then once again, kind of bring your bum closer to the ground. You're going to bring your forearm to the mat. We extend the top leg, and you're going to use that foot to help you maneuver forward and back. We pause. You're going to either clam the bottom leg or kick it out, lift and lower. Pause and relax. And I forgot the side-to-side motion, so go ahead and lean forward a little bit and lean back. Now go ahead and take a breath and relax. From here, we'll lift ourselves and bring our bums to the mat, and I want you to simply push that roller back so that it's at the bottom of your shoulder blades. If you're not sure where the bottom of your shoulder blades are, you can like punch the ceiling, and hopefully you feel the bottom of the shoulder blades touching the floor. If you have longer hair, make sure you tie it up. Hands behind the head. Make sure you have room for your hips between chin and chest. Our neck stays long and our necks don't move. Our hands are going to support our head. I like to put the thumbs on the neck, and my hands are at the base of the skull, so I'm sure I'm not going to do this thing with it. Widen your feet a bit, and then pressing your feet into the floor, you're going to lift your bum, and I want you to roll maybe 2 inches, or think about going over 2 or 3 vertebrae. Now we tuck our pelvis, place the back of the hips on the mat. You're going to curl up into a letter C, and I want you to create a side bend action. So you're not crossing over the body, you're taking your rib cage towards the hip and then to the other side, like you're scratching your back on the roller. Return to center and take a full breath. Let's find one more spot. I want you to walk your feet forward just a little bit so you're more in the middle of the shoulder blades, and then once again, you're going to create this gentle rocking forward and back, or sliding, gliding. Tuck your pelvis, put the back of the hips on the mat, curl up and create your side bends. Notice how the low body stays stable, and if you see your low body shifting side to side, I want you to make a point of stabilizing it. Try not to let the low body move. Now we're going to hold it center.
I want you to take your right elbow higher to the sky. So we're gonna reach, which causes us to be on the left shoulder blade. I know a lot of times in class we have to make our feet a little bit wider for this. I want you to lift your bum just a little bit and create a circular motion over the left shoulder blade. And then from here, you're simply going to drop the left side of your bum onto the mat and then open and close the left elbow like a clam. Bring the elbow in towards your head and take a breath. Let's return to center, adjust our hips. And then once again, you're going to take the elbow higher to the sky. This time it's the left elbow. Hopefully on your right shoulder blade, and you're going to create that circular action over the right shoulder blade. If you can't get a circle, just go forward and back. And then once again, we're going to stop. You place the right side of your bum on the mat, open and close the right elbow. Pause and take a full breath. And then return to center. From here, we're going to rinse it. So you lift your bum, go to the tops of the shoulders, and I want you to press into your feet and push all the way to the bottom of the shoulder blade. We adjust our feet, roll to the top, and then bring it back to the bottom. One more time, all the way to the top, and then to the bottom. We can take our knees to one side and bring ourselves up to a seated position for just a sec. The next one is not easy. We're going to hit our quads. We're only going to hit a couple of spots today on our quads because I'm running out of time. And then we'll finish with stretching. Bring it against your knees. And then I want you to walk yourself forward. Remember, this is really hard on your spine. Instead, I want you to put your toes on the ground and then lift your belly away from the floor. And I know I keep turning sideways, but I really don't need to because I'm not watching anybody. Pull your shoulder blades back and down, push away from the ground, and open your hands a little wider so your shoulders are safer. Rocking on your toes, your ankle mobility will give you the right amount of movement with this. Now I want you to take your hips to the left, so you're on the outer left leg, inner right. We bring it to center, and then you're going to go to the right side with your hips. You're on the outer right, inner left. Chin is off the chest. Maybe gaze forward to your hands just a little bit to make sure your neck stays long. Bring it to center. We pause. And like a dog wagging its tail, I want you to take your hips left to right. Return to center. Bend your left leg a couple of times. And then bend the right leg. And then from here, simply pause and take a full breath. Walk both elbows back a little bit. Again, pushing away from the ground and start your rocking. You're in the middle of your thighs. Let's lean to the left corner. So I'm not on the side of my leg. I'm on the corner where the muscle bulges out. Go ahead and bring it to center. And then we go to the opposite side. Once again to center. We pause our forward and back motion. And again, just drag your flesh left to right, which most of us, this is really uncomfortable. Return to center, still push away from the ground, bend the left leg a couple of times. Neck stays long, chin off the chest. Switch legs. Now just pause and take a breath. Lower your knees to the mat. Take each hand closer to the body. And I want you to open up your knees, sit your bums back, hands onto the roller. We're going to reach forward as far as we can. Let the ears drop between the arms. Allow yourself a full breath. And then on your next exhale, keeping your hips on the heels, I want you to tuck your chin, round your back. And then reach forward, get a little deeper using your full roller. Again, big letter C in the belly, tuck your chin, round the back. And again, we'll bring it through. Last one here. We round and take it through. I'll have you take your arms off the roller. Go ahead and take the knees through so that you can sit down on the ground for a sec. We'll swing our legs around and then lie down on the mat. Adjust your hips so that you're comfortably pressed into the mat, and think about adjusting the shoulders so that you can open up your collarbone. With your left leg bent, you're going to cross the right ankle over left thigh, creating a figure 4. If you're really tight in the hips, as we start to draw the legs towards the chest, a lot of times we start to shift our pelvis. So before we begin, I want you to take the back of the hips and gently press into the mat. This right leg, open it up a little further. And you may already feel like a nice pull on the right side. If that's you, this might be a good position to stay to open things up for a moment. We'll take another breath in. And when you're ready to exhale, start to flex. Pull those knees towards the chest. Right hand through the opening, clasp the hands behind your left leg. Drop the shoulders again. Flexing the right foot, bring your legs in a little closer. And right here, I want you to pause for a moment. Maybe close your eyes so you can really tune into the body. We're going to press the back of the hips into the mat slightly, creating your neutral spine. You should feel your low back scoop away just a little bit from the mat. Take your right elbow into the right thigh. So you're just taking your elbow and trying to open up the hip a little bit more. For some of us, we feel the right side of our bones stretching. Now go ahead and pull your left leg in a little closer to the body and try to push that elbow into the thigh a little bit more. Make sure you're breathing. I know some of us focus so much we forget to breathe. One more time. See if you can pull that left leg in just a little bit closer. From here, relax the pressure. I want you to take that right leg and fully cross the left like a lady does with a skirt on. We're going to grab hold of our shins closer to our ankles. Raise your toes to the ceiling. And then again, before you pull your legs in closer to the body, I want you to gently press the back of the hips towards the ground for a sec. Just square up the hips. And then start to lift the pelvis to pull the knees towards the chest. With our feet flexed to protect the knees, maybe pulling just a hair more. I like to shift my legs to the left because I feel more of a pull in the right piriformis or the right glute muscle. And then we take our hands away. You're going to relax your left foot to the ground, uncross the legs, make the feet wide, and just create windshield wipers for a moment. Return your legs to center, feet are in line with our hips. Your right leg will stay put, left ankle over right thigh. We flex the left foot, press the back of the hips into the ground. It's almost like taking your tailbone towards the ground slightly. And then this knee, the left knee, open it up a little bit more. So you're taking the knee away from the body. And just pause for a full breath. Trying to keep this position. You're going to slowly start to curl the pelvis, and then you'll take your left hand through the opening, pass both hands behind the right leg. Remember, your left foot is flexed. Start to bring that left elbow into the thigh, so you're going to have to pull your shoulder away from the ear a little bit more. And once again, before we start to really curl the pelvis, I want you to gently press the hips towards the ground for a set. And I can feel myself shifting to the left because that left hip is so tight. So I'm going to line my right knee up with my hip and then adjust my hips so that they're square to the mat. Now start to pull in a little bit closer to the body. And if I feel myself shifting to the left again, I know that's going too far for my hips at that point or at this point. Another breath. See if you can gently pull your right leg in a little closer as you press the left thigh away. And then once again, we're just gonna take the pressure away. Unclasp your hands. Take your left leg all the way across the right. Right hand grabs the shin. Shift your right foot over so you can grab that shin, toes up. And then square up your hips. Again, I'm so tight in the left, I can feel my left hip tightening up. Think about getting them both centered and then pressing the tailbone towards the ground. It changes the way your stretch is, how you feel the stretch. Start to pull the knees in a little closer to the body. And if you're feeling that left side really talk to you, maybe that's perfect for you. I'm going to pull my legs to the right a little bit to get more of a pull on that piriformis on the left side. And then once again, we just relax our hands away from the shins. Place the right foot on the ground, uncross your legs. Let's make the feet a little wider than the mat, toes up, and you're going to rock the hips side to side. Take both knees, keeping them wide. Both knees will go to the right side of the room. Left leg stays put. We're going to pick up our right foot, cross that ankle over the left thigh. Maybe turn your gaze to the left. Hopefully you feel a nice pull going across the left side. The majority of us with this stretch will feel it really stretch on one side, but maybe not so much on the other. On your next breath, slide that ankle off. Our feet stay wide with the toes up, and you're going to rock it out. And then take both legs to the left side of the room. Our right leg stays put. Pick up your left foot, cross it over the right side. Take a full breath, and as you exhale, let your legs kind of sink towards the mat. And again, maybe turn your gaze to the right, keeping both shoulders down on the mat. Go ahead and slide that ankle off. Rock the hips side to side. Bring your head back to center if you haven't already. And then let's just pull our knees into the chest for a moment. We'll tuck our chin and bring our head towards our knees, creating a ball with the body. Slowly relax the upper back, shoulders, and then the head to the mat. One more time. Tuck your chin, lift your head, round the upper back, pull your head and knees closer together. Take a breath. Slowly relaxing the shoulders and then the head to the mat. Let's take each foot to the floor. Extend the legs. Arms go overhead. We reach for the back wall. Pretend I'm pulling on your arms and legs, making you longer. Remember, in this position, it's okay for your back to lift up. And then from here, you can keep your arms right over. For me, it's most comfortable. Some of us are more comfortable with your arms in like a goalpost or maybe at the sides, whatever works for you. Close your eyes and allow yourself just a few breaths. Shut off the outside world and its worries. Give yourself permission to take a couple of minutes for you and only you. Be intentional about this couple of minutes. Try to relax your facial features. I can feel myself frowning still. Maybe separate the lips a bit so that the jaw can relax. Allow your shoulders to get heavier onto the ground. Feeling the knees and toes kind of float closer to the side of the room. And then maybe take a handful of really full, intentional breaths. Maybe try to count to 5 on your inhale, and as you exhale, count to 5 or longer. Breathing in and out through the nose. And then maybe take a wiggle in the fingers and toes. Maybe make a gentle fist or roll the wrist. Slowly take each leg into a bent position, taking the knees to one side of the room, rolling the shoulders as well, and then use that top hand to assist you in coming up to a seated position. I'll have you cross the legs in front of you. Let's just take a couple of breaths. Inhale fully, reaching up to the ceiling. Exhale, lower it back down. Again, a breath in. Lower. So thank you so much for joining me today. Have a wonderful day. Just a couple things to think about. If you are feeling stressed, to breathe into the diaphragm. It only takes 4 or 5 breaths to calm your nervous system and let your stress go. But as you take your full breaths, think about keeping the shoulders and chest relaxed. Ideally, it's from the belly and then the rib cage expanding. Your chest would be last to rise. And be aware if you notice when you take a full breath that you're going, think of what this motion represents. Fighting. You know, a fighter, they're flexed and they're pressed. So relaxing breaths through here. Maybe close your eyes and just, a lot of people putting their hand on the belly or the rib cage helps them be more aware. Where am I breathing when I exhale? Is that belly getting smaller? Just something to think about. Have a great day, guys. Thank you for joining me.